Hello, hello, hello. It is Sarah Waggle. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. And just in case you're new here, I use tools such as astrology, energy healing, coaching tools, and whatnot to support individuals in living their best life, like living in joy, finding their joy, going through a healing process, going through an awakening process, and whatnot. And so I'm here on YouTube, I'm on TikTok and Instagram. I am on Facebook, however, most active on Instagram and TikTok. But I just wanted to say to kind of as a sort of an announcement, there will be some content coming in the next month or two or three. um, about my blind nomad journey. So if you are new to me, or if you don't know this about me, I am legally blind. I've been a nomad before. In other words, I don't have like a stable home. I go from place to place. I did this in California. I did this in Arizona. And I put it on hold to deal with some family things. And now things are shifting. So I'll be going back to blind nomad journey, kind of more full time in that I will be using, house sitting, Airbnbs, and whatnot in order to be a nomad and be on the road. And so look forward to some of that content. It'll probably be more Instagram and TikTok prior to being YouTube. But I might bring some of it to YouTube. Of course, you'll see my setting change from place to place and whatnot. And so I have a trip planned in early July, and then more things planned for late August and early or into September and October. And then at that point, it kind of just depends on my current home situation, whether I will be on the road full time or if I will be coming back here before I hit the road. It's all kind of up in the air, very Uranian, right? So let's dive into this Sagittarius full moon because oh boy, kids, we got some energy. We are in the middle, as I'm filming this, we're in the middle of the Scorpio moon building up to the Sagittarius full moon. And we've also, I think, what time is it that I'm currently recording? Where did I put my phone? But I think we are done past the, yep, it's an hour past the Jupiter conjunct the North Node exact in Taurus. That is a transit that we do not get very often. And so it will be, a few decades before we see that conjunction again. And that's what I love about the astrology of this time that we're in and why it's been so exciting and fun to learn astrology at this point in time is that we are experiencing a number of transits that do not happen very often, notably Pluto and Aquarius, that only happens every 250 or so years. And so a lot of things that normally we have, of course, we normally have moon cycles, we normally have Mercury go retrograde 3 or 4 times a year. We normally experience, but they're being kind of I don't want to say amplified maybe, or just they're feeling so different because we are having these rarer than normal transits, or transits that only occur every 20, 30, 40, 50, 200 years, that we are experiencing amongst or amid the regular transits that we experience. And so if you're feeling like, what the actual hell is going on? Yeah, right there with you. Right there with you. And so hopefully you had a wonderful or some sort of wonderful moment with the Jupiter North Node conjunction. And hopefully you're doing pretty good through this Scorpio moon. Scorpio moons can be very intense emotionally, physically, mentally, all of the things. Scorpio is very transformative that way. And so if you've got a lot of planets in Scorpio and you feel like you can't ever get things right in life, it's because you signed up for a life of transformation. And so things in your life will constantly either be left unhealed and therefore, cause drama and shit not to work out, but it'll create the opportunities for you to continue healing and growing, and all of that. And so therefore the other side of Scorpio is massive resistance to healing. So yeah, so we're about halfway through the Scorpio moon, heading into a Sagittarius moon with a full moon. and lots of transits around, like before it and after it. So I put together a keynote for you that does include sun signs. So if all goes well, as I'm recording this, I'm going to say it and hopefully it works out for me in the end. There are chapters to this video. So if you get to the sun sign part of it and you want to skip to your sign, you should be able to chapter your way or timestamp your way to your sun and or rising sign. And so there you go. All right, let's dive into this. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Remembered my key command. Okay. So we have lots of things around this full moon. Of course, like I said, we just on June 1 had the Jupiter conjunct the North Node. Mercury is also out of its retrograde shadow. And then on the 2nd, we've got a grand water trine. Between the moon, Venus, and Neptune, this can bring on some illusions. The moon and Neptune can both be very illusionary. And of course, Neptune's in Pisces in its home sign, the moon in Scorpio in its fall position, and Venus finishing up in Cancer. So tomorrow could be really interesting with, with relationships, with money, with your self-worth, Venusian type qualities or characteristics or happenings. And so watch out tomorrow. As I feel like as we get close to breakthroughs, we have massive breakdowns. And as we have breakdowns, our inner child gets very insecure, and gets very like clingy to things that it's familiar with. Our ego, our inner child, however you view it, gets clingy and very attached to the thing that it's familiar with, even though the universe has sort of got this driving force to push us forward. And so I feel like that's what's happening on Friday evening. It's exact around 7:40 in the evening, Central Time, of course. My times are all Central. Okay, then on the 3rd Saturday, we will have the moon square Saturn in Pisces. That's the first one. So the moon will be in Sag, squaring Saturn and Pisces. Then it's going to trine with Mars in Leo. And then we have that full moon. Oh, I didn't even put it on here. That's okay. It's on the next slide. So we have lots of pushy-pulley, sticky, think it through, really get clear as to what you want. A trine is really supportive, but a square, the square between the moon and Saturn, can be kind of restricting, and it could be productive to be restricted with Saturn, right? Because if you're not feeling so emotional, it could allow you or give you the space to move through and get the work done. Moon trine Mars, fire signs, this could be action oriented. So Saturday, that leading up to that could be a really good day. And the full moon is going to be in the evening around 10:40 in the evening Central Time. And this is a Sag full moon, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then on Sunday, we have around 2 in the afternoon, 2:30 in the afternoon, Mercury conjunct Uranus. Mercury is mental, it's mindset, it's quick, it's could be a lot of communication type things. Conjunct Uranus and Taurus. Uranus has been in Taurus for a while. I think since 2018. And so this particular, with all of the other energy, the moon will be waning at that point. But with all the other energy going on, this could be really interesting. Mercury tends to bring sun codes or light codes as it moves through transits. And so you could be getting some sort of clarity or intuitive downloads, maybe some psychic premonitions as to what's next for you, the direction that you're going, things like that. So this is called the strawberry moon, according to the Farmer's Almanac. Fun fact, my hometown used to have a strawberry fest back in the day where they served strawberry shortcake. And I always just had the shortcake and whipped cream because I don't eat strawberries. But it was all about strawberries for an entire weekend in my hometown. But strawberries are harvested this time of year. So that is why it is the strawberry moon. Check that out on the Farmer's Almanac. Okay, Jupiter ruled. It's at 13 degrees Sagittarius, opposed the sun at 13 degrees of Gemini. Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign, mutable meaning mutate, change, fire. Obviously, that's just it's heating up. And if you notice on the chart, and if you're familiar with the Sagittarius glyph, it is an arrow pointing upwards, usually to the right, but it's forward, up. So upward, onward, and upward, right? And so Sagittarius is that sign for us. So it is all about shifting your beliefs, your philosophies, your potentially traveling, moving in a long distance sort of way. So it wouldn't be surprising if people start moving like internationally or something like that, or maybe just across the country or something like that. Okay, so supercharged change because of the fact that we had that Jupiter conjunct the North Node. And then, of course, on Sunday, we'll have Mercury conjunct Uranus. And so, there's just all kinds of supercharged change and opportunities. However, be prepared to clear, cleanse, and release the patterns, the beliefs, the philosophies, the wounds that are holding you back from having things go the way you want them to go, right? Whether it's earning money, whether it's relationships, whether it is, goals, whether it's health and routines, whatever it is, be prepared to release the things, whether it's physical or mindset or mental, that are holding you back from having the things that you want. So this is a supercharged full moon. It is an excellent opportunity to really move forward as 2023 continues to open. We have Venus moving into Leo on the 5th, and it's going to be there for a while. It's going to be there until October. That's a really long time for Venus to be in a sign. However, it does have a retrograde end of July that's going to keep it there for quite some time. And Venus and Leo is going to light shit up, including like light up your heart, right? Leo is all about heart. Venus is all about money, your value, your worth, and all of that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this is such a supercharged moment in time. It is really a moment to really allow yourself the opportunities to move forward and really work with this energy. I am not the type of person who feels like anyone's ever fucked, screwed, or you lost your opportunity or you lost your chance. I don't believe that. I don't subscribe to that. What I do believe is that there are times that we have more support from the universe in areas of our life than in other times. And so as we move through the sun signs up ahead, you'll see that there's a part of your life that's being highlighted by this full moon and by Jupiter's placement in Taurus for you to focus on during this full moon. And but it doesn't mean that other parts of your life don't matter or aren't, or or that you're screwed in any way. I just don't subscribe to that. I think that there's just times when we're supported to move forward in something, and if we make the habit or the practice of working with the energies, it will support us in getting ourselves moving forward. So, okay. All right. So if at this point you want to move forward to your sun sign, again, God willing, and the creek don't rise, I've made chapters and it's working. And if it's working, I'm going to be so proud of myself. Okay. All right. So Aries. Okay. Aries, sun and rising. This is going to be in the full moon's in your 9th house. Jupiter is in your 2nd house. So this is all about your philosophies about yourself, your self-beliefs, your self-worth, your money, your value, all of those things. And long distance travel, of course, is in that 9th house. Your self-value, your self-worth is in that 2nd house. And so your release may be around your limiting beliefs about yourself, your limiting beliefs about where you can go and how you can achieve the things that you want, whether it's money or whatever, money, creating a career, creating a relationship, whatever. But usually this is around money, self-worth, with Jupiter in the second house. So the full moon's going to illuminate something in your ninth house. The Jupiter is going to expand whatever that is for you. And so it's all about your belief systems in that ninth house, and money, self-worth, your value of yourself in the second house. So hopefully that gives you, I feel like Aries, this is all about, like, you've got Jupiter in your second house and you just had it in your first house. So you shifted a lot, you've expanded a lot, and now it's time to see where that can take you. What can that do as far as shifting your philosophies and your belief systems? This could be cultural, this could be religion, this could be, like I said, long distance travel. Maybe you're going to move internationally to take a job opportunity, something like that. So that is Aries. Taurus. Taurus, sun and rising. Oh, come on. There we go. My Zoom gets a little bit off center and I use the Zoom to actually read my own read my own slides. Okay, so the full moon is in your 8th house, and of course Jupiter is in your 1st house. Jupiter's doing a lot of work to expand your self-worth around your appearance, around your how you show up to the world. The 8th house is mergings. It's financial and intimate mergings. This can be around money. This can be around marriage, or otherwise intimate relationships, if you get my drift. And so this could be around maybe shifting something in your appearance so that you look hot. Or maybe you feel like you look hot, but you need to, like, change up your wardrobe, change up your jewelry, change up your hair, that kind of thing, as Jupiter is in your 1st house. Maybe you're going to change your hair for your wedding. Maybe you're going to, buy the new dress for summer, or the bikini for summer. Yeah, go buy the damn bikini. If you're a guy, maybe you're going to shave. Maybe you're going to, I don't know, color your hair. Do guys color their hair? Well, Mark Paul Gosselaar did, so who knows? But yeah, so this full moon is going to illuminate something. Maybe it's a fear around that 8th house, the mergings, both financially and intimately. The full moon is going to illuminate something to be released around being in, your worth in your marriage. Maybe you're the one that's feeling like you're not worthy of your partner or your spouse. Maybe you're the one who needs to make some changes. So your fears around your mergings, maybe it's a financial thing too. It doesn't have to be a marriage or whatever. It can also be like a business partnership, or something that's merged. So if you've collaborated financially with a business partner, or maybe intimately, who knows? But if you've collaborated financially with a business partner, maybe something is illuminated and that you are now deciding that that is not the right business endeavor for you to be involved in. And so there's a release point here that's going to give you space for you to find the business partnership that's more in alignment for your worth and your values. And there, to me, everything's kind of around spirituality, but it's anything that you are spiritually close to. So like I said, it can be your close, your business partner, by business partner, I mean somebody that you have financial contracts with, intimate partner, marriage, that sort of thing. So mergings and things like that. So something's going to get illuminated in the 8th house that's going to take your Jupiter, the expansion in your 1st house, to sort of work through. All right, let's move on to Gemini. Gemini, the full moon is going to be in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, balance, justice. And then of course, Jupiter is in your 12th house of spirituality, karma, endings, and that sort of thing. So something's going to be illuminated in your relationships, in your partnerships, that you're involved in, that's going to kind of, maybe this is an ending to a karmic relationship with somebody that you've been friends with for a long time. Maybe it's just an energetic ending. Like there's the difference between the physical ending, like we're done being friends, and an energetic ending. I've had plenty of relationships that end physically, but I keep an energetic door open for those relationships to continue. But maybe you're at the point where it's like, screw it, I'm done. This is worthless. This is not honoring me, my values, my worth. And so I am going to close the energetic door on this friendship so that I can move on to something that is more in alignment. 12th house is karmic cleanups. It's karmic endings and things like that. And so really feels like you're going to end a relationship, but a relationship that's no longer in service, and allow space for a new, more abundant, more in alignment relationship to occur. So that's Gemini. Next up, we have Cancer. Cancer is having the full moon in their 6th house of health, daily routines, work routines, and Jupiter is in the 11th house of groups, communities, technology, things like that. Something's coming up for you around your health, your wellness, your well-being, your routines, your work routines, your work schedule, with regards to your relationship with groups and communities and perhaps technology. This could be, you being a part of a virtual group, but it's taking too much of your time and energy, and you need to back off. This could be you are feeling like your work is getting in the way, or your health is keeping you from your family group, your friends group, the community at which you live in. Maybe it's keeping you from learning new technology or participating in a virtual group. Maybe virtual is what you're looking for, and your health is, or your work routine is the problem, or is standing in the way of that. And so as full moon in your 6th house, and maybe it's something of being of service and something is preventing you from being of service. Maybe it's your belief. Ooh, that would be interesting. Full moon in Sagittarius, which is all about beliefs and philosophies, and your attitude or your belief around people of service. Maybe you look down on volunteers and people who volunteer, and maybe it's time for you to shift how you look at volunteers and see and understand and acknowledge their heart that they put into the work that they do, and acknowledge that their work is as valuable as someone who's being paid. That's some juicy shit. And so what's in the way of you being a part of the groups and communities and advances in technology that you desire to be a part of, Cancer? Really kind of take a look there and see what comes up for you. So that's Cancer. And take a drink of water. Excuse the swallowing you're about to hear. All right, we got Leo. Leo, this is going to be in full moon in your 5th house of heart-centered, childlike, or inner child wounds. Jupiter is in your 10th house of work, achievements, goals, and aspirations. I feel like for Leos, this is something about your inner child wounding is affecting your work. Or it could be that it's time for you to add something playful and childlike to your work to make it more fun, to make it more playful, to make it more joyful, to make it more heart-centered. 5th house is Leo themed, so it's heart-centered. And so maybe there's something coming up for you around your 5th house. Like I said, whether it's, creating, having your work be heart-centered, having your work be more playful and joyful. Maybe it's your inner child wound that is affecting your work environment or your business from being where it could be, because you're avoiding this inner child wounding. And so take a look at that. Again, this is one where if you are dealing with an inner child wound, this is the first time I'll mention this, getting some support around it, whether it's a therapist, a spiritual guide, coach, or something like that, who specializes in working with inner child wounding, if that happens to be the case for you. Any sign, anything that I mentioned, like if you're feeling like you're stuck on it, it's definitely, the option is there to work with a coach, a mentor, a therapist, or whatever to work through the healing process of that. So that's Leo. All right, Virgos. For Virgo, this full moon is happening in your fourth house of home, maternal, mothering, motherhood, emotional intelligence, that sort of thing. And then the Jupiter is in your ninth house of shifting your philosophies, your belief systems, you're, potentially traveling. You are the most likely to relocate, I would say, with this fourth and ninth house. Virgos would be the most likely to travel, to move homes. But I would say this is like, maybe it's you being a mom and shifting your beliefs about mothering. Perhaps it is you, shifting your beliefs or fears around how you were mothered. Maybe your mom, didn't exist for part of your childhood. Maybe you had, an abusive mom or not such a healthy relationship with mom. And it's time to kind of heal that wound about yourself in order to catapult yourself into this ninth house of, of shifting your beliefs, shifting your philosophies, shifting, this is good things can happen when you heal these emotional wounds. Also, it could be an opportunity to just simply practice emotional intelligence and learning how to perhaps control, if you are a Virgo and you happen to be like a Scorpio moon, for example, you may be like an emotionally outburst type of person. And maybe this is an opportunity to learn how to manage that whenever possible in order to, not overreact or create some emotional stability with that ninth house Jupiter expansion opportunity. So that's Virgo. Libra. All right, Libra, full moon in your third house of mindset, written communication, very mercurial themed. So anything related to Mercury, which is mind, fastly, quickly changing your mind, speed, writing, that sort of thing. Communication is obviously a big deal with Mercury. Every time Mercury goes retrograde, we all have issues with communication in some capacity or the other. And then, of course, we have the Jupiter in your eighth house of mergings, financially and intimate mergings. And so maybe this is this could be like you writing a resignation letter. This could be you taking your business to the next level by maybe creating a blog or something like that, or merging with other writers to maybe be a guest blogger, maybe a guest podcaster, something like that. It also could be just a verbal contract between you and an associate or an intimate partner. However that looks for you. So this one's kind of third house for me is hard. I don't know. I just can't put I can't put a gauge on the third house. It's a little bit like it houses a lot of different things with regards to mindset and communication and short-term travel and all of that. However, there is something that's going to be illuminated in one of those areas that's going to be amplified or expanded by that eighth house of mergings, financial and intimate mergings. And so maybe it's also psychological too with that eighth house. That's a Scorpio house, and Scorpio can get a little. So that's Libra. Scorpio, sun and rising, full moon in your second house of finances, self-value, self-worth, Venetian qualities, in the Jupiter in your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, colleagues, that sort of thing. This is exciting because you've had a lot of focus. If you are anything Scorpio, if you have a Scorpio in your big 3, sun, moon, or rising, your 7th house has been lit up like a goddamn Christmas tree the last 18 months with all those Taurus, Scorpio, Taurus eclipses. And so this may be the moment where you have made some decisions to cut some ties, to release some old relationships, to release yourself from things from groups of people or situations or circumstances or relationships that do not value you, that do not see your worth. And Jupiter in your 7th house is going to amplify and sort of swing the door open on blossoming or blooming or bringing in, planting seeds for new relationships that are more in alignment with you, that are more understanding, that are more accepting, that see your value, see your worth, with regards to who you are. And so this is an interesting moment for Scorpio, especially if you are a Scorpio who has lost, who has dealt with a lot of parting way partnerships over the last few years. You could be stepping into a whole new, especially Venus coming into Leo on the 5th. I feel like Scorpio for sure that'll be a square to you, but that'll bring in some interesting new dynamic relationships for you. So we'll see what that Venus in Leo brings for Scorpios. So 2nd house full moon for Scorpio and 7th house Jupiter for Scorpio. And so all right, Sagittarius, full moon in your 1st house. If you happen to be a Sagittarius in your big 3, you want to look for 13 degrees of Sagittarius. It could be right on your sun, moon, or rising. Full moon in your 1st house, and Jupiter in your 6th house. So this is all about something being illuminated in your personal appearance that may be causing health issues or issues with your routine. So something about how you're showing up to the world is actually getting in the way. Maybe you're overcommitting. Maybe you are over investing or overcommitting to things that do not bring you good health. Like it's taking too much of you away from, how you're presenting yourself in the world, to the world, that might be affecting your health. And so there is that to kind of think about. It also could be that getting your routine in order, your health in order, your work in order, will support you in wanting to improve your appearance and how you present yourself to the world. And so then there's always wanting to cut ties with people just because they make you look bad. And so I feel like there could be a few dynamic there, but something around your health, your work life, your routines, daily routines, your health routines, your work routines, and how you are showing up to the world for the world to see. And so take a look in those areas. I feel like you could be changing something about your routine. You could be changing something about your appearance. In order to, catapult your work in a whole new direction. And so that could be really interesting for Sagittarius. Capricorn, happies, full moon in your 12th house and Jupiter in your 5th house. Something about karma and endings is affecting your heart space, your inner child. It's, something needs to end. Something's being illuminated so that it can end, so that you can heal your inner child, or so that you can be more heart-centered, playful, childlike in your life. Something's really got you held back, has really got you in a place of maybe darkness, and it's something karmic. It's something that probably, that definitely, you know, everything happens for a reason. So I think when we think about the 12th house, it's like, damn, I could have avoided that. No, not really, because if it's karmic, it was meant to happen. And we are, I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. We all get into situations for a reason. There's always a reason why we need to experience it. It's when we put ourselves on a broken record repeat that things continue to show up, and we kind of sit back and wonder, like, why? It's because it's a karmic cycle that you need to actively, intentionally break with yourself. And the only way to do that is through healing it, acknowledging it, creating awareness around it, and that sort of thing. So something here is being illuminated in your karma, in your, you know, that's ready to be ready to end, so that you can step into a more heart-centered, playful, joyful space. So an interesting dynamic there for Capricorn. All right, Aquarius, sun and rising. You have a full moon happening in your 11th house, and Jupiter in your 4th house. What an interesting dynamic. 11th house is your house as Aquarius. Aquarius rules the 11th house. So that's groups, that's communities, technology, all of those sorts of things. 4th house Jupiter is home. It's maternal, mothering or motherhood, how you were mothered. It's also emotional intelligence. So it could be just putting yourself out there. You know, you want to be a part of groups, but you're afraid to show your emotions and show how you really feel, even if, because I don't know, I'm an Aquarius, so I'm gonna speak into this one a bit. But I think Aquarians tend to think that, like, you know, their feelings are not important, maybe not valued. Maybe they don't agree with something that the rest of the world agrees upon. And so they're afraid to share how they feel about something, Aquarius. But Aquarius, in order to, you know, be a part of groups, communities, and whatnot, you got to show a little emotion. You got to show what you feel, and not hide from it. And it's also just a really good time, as this full moon's going to illuminate groups, to cut ties with a group that's not allowing you to show your emotions, that's not allowing you to be free to share how you feel about something. And so it's definitely an opportunity to, you know, look at the groups that you're involved in, look at the communities, maybe look at the technology that you're using, the virtual spaces that you're using, and are you able to be your full authentic self, and whatnot. I also want to speak into, I feel like with this Jupiter in the 4th for Aquarius, maybe you are joining a group of parents as like a mentor. Maybe you're going to create a group for moms, or parents, to be supported, to create community for maybe moms who, you know, live in a rural area and need support. And so, because when I read this, I literally thought of the groups that I participate in online that are parents of legally blind kids, and I pop in there once in a while just to give parents like a little helpful piece of advice, or to give them hope that, you know, they're doing great as a parent, right? Because I think when we have like kids with special needs, like, you know, parents get really worried that they're not going to do it right. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all good. And so maybe that's something that you, Aquarius, are looking at, is and joining or being a part of groups and communities to be of support. Maybe it's for disability, maybe it's for foster care. You know, who knows what it is, but if that's something that you as an Aquarius are thinking about, that is something to check into with this 11th house full moon, with this 4th house Jupiter. So that's Aquarius. And Pisces. Pisces, this full moon is occurring in your 10th house with Jupiter in your 3rd house. 10th house is goals, achievements, aspirations, work. Third house is that mercurial house of communication, mindset, communication, specifically written communication. It's changing your mind quickly, whatnot. This could honestly be like you start a blog similar to Libra. I think it was that I said starting a blog, becoming a guest blogger. Maybe you're getting in, maybe you're quitting a job to become a writer. Maybe you're writing a letter of resignation. Perhaps something is being illuminated in your work and your goals, that what you want to achieve, that's leading back to your mindset or your communication around what's in the way of you moving forward in your work, career, goals, or aspirations. So something to really just pay attention to. Maybe this is the perfect opportunity for Pisces to take journaling time, if you don't already, to really dig in and see what's there, what's available for you, as far as maybe it's time for a career change. Maybe you need to, laterally move, or up level move, something like that, in order to, maybe you need to just shift where you are. Maybe you work in technology, but you want to do grant writing, something like that. Who knows? But I do feel like there's something about writing. There's something about a career change, even if it's a lateral move within the same company or organization. And like I said, could be something as simple as guest blogging, or something like that. Maybe you're doing more social media writing, and actually writing posts on your social media, as opposed to just posting photos on your social media. Who knows? So many different things could be going on there. So that's it for Pisces. All right. So that is your sun signs for this full moon in Sagittarius. This is a doozy of an energy, between the Jupiter transits, the lots of planets still changing position. June is going to be pretty heavy as far as planets moving. We're getting ready for retrogrades. So whatever you can do with this Sag full moon to really push yourself forward, like the best you can, like really stay the course, really laser focus, because we're about to have planets start to go retrograde. Of course, Pluto's already retrograde, but Saturn is next. And Saturn, to me, is the hardest. Once Saturn goes retrograde, that's where it gets hard. Because Saturn is restriction, and Saturn wants you to go back and review all of the things that you just learned from this first part of Pisces. Because I believe it does retrograde back to 0 degrees Pisces. And so think about, for the last, since March 7th, what's been going on and what's changed for you. So, and then we will have, I think Neptune's the next after that. But Venus is going to be the bigger felt, I think, in July, because of when it happens. We'll get to July later on. But thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you. And of course, you can follow my daily lives on Instagram. And then, of course, I have the daily tarots, the moon videos. Hopefully you find those to be very supportive. I appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate you commenting, liking my videos, sharing, and all of those things. I just really appreciate all of the love and the support that I get here on these virtual platforms. It really does mean a lot. Also, you can look in the description box below. You can get a reading from me. You can get a one-to-one Zoom reading, but you can also get a written report. So if you're just like, nah, I don't know how to interpret all of these things, and you really want like written dates and times when these transits occur and how they will aspect your natal chart, I provide a written report of, dates, times, what the transit is, but then I kind of give you some guidance and some coaching tools and mentor tools to really give you some kind of support and guidance around how to work with the energies to, have them, or what to be at least maybe aware of when these transits occur, right? It's kind of like I do with the moon videos. Like I basically do the moon videos to show you, if you follow them, like where is the moon? What can I expect? What can I be supported by? Like the essential oil or the aromatherapy that you can be supported by. So I do that in the moon videos, but when I do it for an individual, I'm using your chart and giving you, a thorough write-up of what you can expect coming up with the transits. and aspects. So I hope you find that helpful. You can check the link below for my Calendly for that. And thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you on the next video. Have a great night. Bye.